Good evening. Welcome to Alexandria Animal Matters. I'm Linda Couture, your host this evening, and I want to thank you for joining us. Tonight we're going to talk about a program at the shelter that's being developed and redeveloped and improved. So I have with me Dianne Hohenthaner. Did I say that right?
Hohenthaner.
Hohenthaner. I'll never get her name right. Who is responsible for this program and is making it happen. So we're going to get a lot of details. And she's brought along tonight Annita Ferencz, who is one of her foster parents, I'm going to say. Right. So I think we're going to be telling you what that means and you know, why she continues to do that, because I think Dianne was excited to have you here tonight because you've been such a stalwart supporter of hers. So anyway, let's start with you, Dianne, because I know you and I have worked together before on community events. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of a shifting gears, and I think it speaks well to the fact that we want to increase this activity. So what does it mean? What does this foster program entail for you?
Well, I'm very excited about this program. We have had a small fostering program for about 4 or 5 years. But recently, the League made the decision to expand the program. And I couldn't have been happier as a staff member and a foster caregiver myself. I could see the benefits of it to the League and had experienced firsthand the benefits that it gives to the foster. But we've been, as you said, revamping the program to allow for more foster caregivers and more fosterlings. And we are expanding the types of animals that we are able to foster.
Yeah, because for those of us that, I mean, we all know about foster parents, so it's the same thing, that you have people who take animals home but aren't necessarily going to keep them.
Exactly.
So you said expanded the kind, before it was just cats and dogs? And
before it was just a handful of veteran volunteers, and we didn't open up to the public at all. And now it is available, the program is available to have the public trained, even if they don't volunteer in other capacities in the shelter.
So you can be just a foster. I mean, if that's the sort of thing that appeals to you.
Absolutely. There are people who want to help animals and have experience, but their thing isn't really coming in and helping hours in the shelter. Either their schedule doesn't allow for it, or they find it hard to do that kind of thing, but they still want to help, and this is a great way to do it.
Yeah, they probably want to stay in their home. I mean, some of them want to just stay in their homes and help from there. Mm-hmm. So they can have that long reach to you, but not have to physically come in. So what animals, are there any animals that you don't foster?
Well, we haven't had call to foster any reptiles yet, but we have fostered dogs, cats. We have fostered guinea pigs, hamsters, rabbits as well, and we may have fostered a bird or two. I'm not sure about that. Would have been before I took over as a coordinator.
Inclusive.
It is. All of our animals are at-risk animals. They aren't for overflow.
That's good to know.
We are fostering basically underage, underweight, or animals that are at risk for another reason, maybe ill, and just being out of the shelter environment with a little extra TLC.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sometimes they're able to get well so much faster.
They have that individual attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just being out of a shelter environment, as you said. Annita, how did you learn about this, and how long have you been doing it? And then I want to hear about some experiences.
Okay. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years, and I learned about it because I visited the shelter one day and learned that they had a volunteer program and decided I wanted to be a volunteer, and became a volunteer and heard about the program and loved kittens, so I just wanted to be a foster parent to have that kitten experience and just to be a part of it and to help the kittens. And I did kittens and I did bunnies once. So
did you?
Yes, I did, and I loved both. They were both exciting. So
well, I know we were talking off camera because I really want the audience to hear about your experiences. I mean, what are the really you know, what's the real upside? Why do you do this? But then also, what are some of the challenges that anyone who gets into this program might have to think about?
Well, I love to do it because I love the kittens, and I'm sure everybody loves kittens. But they're, you know, they're cute and they're cuddly and they're fun to be around. And you want to help them, and you want to, you know, help to socialize them, help them keep them. It helps you feel good to know that you're doing something good for these animals, and they can go into the shelter and be adopted to a good owner. So that's why I like to do it. And some of the challenges, it's actually very challenging because it's time consuming, and if you have your own animals and your own family and your own jobs, it takes a lot of time. Every single day you have to weigh them and feed them, and if you have a mom, you have to make sure everything's taken care of, and if they have medicine, you need to administer medicine. So it's just very time consuming. So that's one of the bigger challenges. And another challenge, I think, is just learning to see the illness signs, because sometimes they get ill, and you need to be able to recognize if they're not eating or if they don't feel well or things like that. And sometimes you lose one, and that's a big challenge. So you just have to prepare yourself for things like that. So, but it's still very rewarding, and I do enjoy
letting
it.
them go off as I guess when you take them in, you know that the day is going to come, but that you're sending them off to a better
home.
world.
Yes, and sometimes you do actually get attached, and I actually kept my first one because I was so attached. But after that, it was like you can't keep them all. You learn that. You learn that. You learn that, and you learn that you know that the shelter is going to give them to a good home, because they interview people, and so it's just, you know, they're going to be going to a good home.
So the biggest thing is this feeling good, helping
these kittens, or the dogs, or the bunnies, whatever you show. Yes.
Because everybody has different affinities when it comes to their pets.
Right.
Okay. I guess if people want to volunteer, they go to our website, or just go to the telephone book and call the shelter, right?
Absolutely.
If they just use the word foster and don't remember your name, they'll still get to you, right, Dianne?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are in dire need of more foster families, and the training process doesn't take long.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So supposing I, called you up and said, Dianne, I'm thinking about this. Then what happens next and next and next?
The first thing is to attend one of our general volunteer orientations, and that is required of anyone that volunteers for AWLA in any capacity.
And those are in the evening?
Those are in the evening, and it's a 2-hour orientation, and they're usually held about once a month.
Okay.
And that way you really get to know who we are and what our philosophies are.
When it's going to be a fit.
Absolutely. And at that point, if you feel like you truly want to become a member of our volunteer family, there is a fostering application and survey to fill out. You would furnish us with just a local criminal background report for obvious reasons,
right, and
submit that to me. I then call you up, and we schedule an interview and a training session, and finally at the shelter, and then finally a home visit is required, where we talk about any questions you might have, as well as I take a look at where you're proposing that you actually physically house your fosterlings. Some environments are not appropriate for some types of animals,
and you have to tell them that.
And sure, and you just want to go, no, I think that your thoughts are in the right place, but hey, this area of your home would be better than this for this and this and this reason. Some people have experience, some people don't have as much. That's where I come in to try to make it a win-win situation, not start them out with expectations that could get in the way of successful fostering.
That's great.
I highly recommend it.
And Dianne, thank you for bringing Annita, and thank you for telling us about your new program, and lots of success.
Linda, thank you for having us.
Yeah, and give her a call and bring home a wee one.
Please do.
So stay tuned. We'll be having an animal segment.